Hey guys, it's Garrett. I wanted to do a video on Archer's MOA because the more I talk to people, the more I find they don't really know exactly what Archer's MOA is. And I use that term in a lot of my videos, and I want to be able to make sure that we have the same expectations of what my MOA is compared to your MOA. Because a lot of folks are thinking, well, MOA, that's at 1.05 inches at 100 yards, which is correct if you're talking about guns. For bows, that's 1 inch per every 10 yards that you shoot. So a 20-yard group should be 2 inches, 30 yards would be 3 inches, and then 100 yards would be 10 inches. And when I say that I can shoot at, say, a half MOA at 100 yards, I'm referring to a 5-inch group at 100 yards. And I want to show you guys how I measure my groups, because I bring this tape measure with me to the range all the time, this actual tape measure. And I'm going to show you how I measure my groups so we're all unified in what we're expecting when we claim something. So I'm going to pretend that I shot this arrow here, and I flung that arrow over there as just a bad shot. I'm going to take the two farthest arrows apart, and I'm going to measure from the middle of each shaft. I'm not going to measure from the outside of each shaft or the inside, because if you measure from the outside, you're taking away from your group. And if you're measuring from the inside, you're giving yourself a little bit more credit than you deserve. The center of impact is going to be represented by the middle of each shaft. So I'm going to go from this arrow to this arrow, and that's going to equal a 5.5 inch group. Now if I'm shooting 60 yards, I'm shooting better than MOA, and I'm doing a pretty good job. Now if I'm shooting this size group, I'm shooting about a 3-inch group right here, 3 inches, yep. And that would be a half MOA group at 60 yards. Now if you're shooting MOA, I would say about to 60 yards. This is from what I've seen at the range. You're shooting 1 MOA at all the ranges out to 60 yards, you're probably a pretty average shooter. If you're doing better than that, you're better than average. Say if you're shooting half MOA to 3/4 MOA out to 60 yards, you're definitely doing good. A lot of guys don't choose to shoot past that range. I love to shoot as far as I can, as often as I can. So to compare yourself to me, at 120 yards, I'm averaging about a 3/4 MOA to, and a really good group would be half MOA. I just shot the best group at 120 I've shot personally so far, and it was a 5-inch group at 120, and I was totally stoked about it. Now my average group is 7.5 to 8 inches, and that's just where I'm at that range, and I'm trying to get better. So compare yourself to me. I shoot 200 and something arrows a day, about 225 on average. I try and shoot 7 days a week, but I average about 1,200 arrows a week total, which is well over 50,000 arrows a year. And that's how I get my groups to shrink down. It's just by flat out shooting more, and then making sure my bow is constantly always tuned and in the best proper spine, arrow, fill tip, knock, everything. I always try and make sure everything's perfect when you're trying to shoot that accurate. So hopefully this works for you guys. You guys can compare yourself, track yourself, see where you add up in the MOA system. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video, and thanks for tuning into this one. Have a good night.